Hi friends, welcome to another week of Misunderstood. This week has been an interesting one for me because I've been reflecting on something that I'm going to be sharing in this Unstuck conversation on also some reasons why you are stuck, and I've been stuck as well. For anyone who's new here, welcome to Misunderstood. This is a platform that I created with the sole intention of giving understanding to the happenings and seasons in life that sometimes we don't have clarity about. I pray that even as you watch and join this community, that you will feel a sense of belonging and that you will not feel alone, but you will feel extremely encouraged and know that in this journey of life, sometimes you're just one person away from hearing what they've gone through so that you can overcome a challenge that's coming your way. Now this week, over the last few weeks, the next few weeks really, we've been speaking, I'll be sharing alongside you because I love your comments about some of the things that have kwamished us and made us stuck. You feel like you are going in a certain direction and then suddenly you realize, Abu, just wait a minute, something isn't making sense here. Why am I extremely stuck? You know, the other day, I was driving the car and I noticed on the dashboard, you know the way you switch on the car and then you're driving, everything is okay. Then after like a few minutes of driving, you see so many lights on the dashboard and I felt like I was going to faint because I wondered, surely, how can all these things mean the same thing? And then there was the brake, ABS was shouting there. There was the, what do you call that thing? The handbrake, the light was on and the handbrake was down. There was the battery, there was the check engine. There were so many signs on that dashboard and that gave me a lot of anxiety. So I called my husband in typical wifely distress of a car and I call him and he tells me, you know what you need to do is switch off the car and start it again and see what the issue is. And I felt like that was such a powerful response to what exactly life should do to us, is that sometimes the things that you are seeing as red flags on your dashboard are really telling you to just stop and unpack them and then realize what the real issue is. And to be honest, when I switched on the car again, I realized there's something wrong with the battery because it just began crying foul. Because when I switched off the car, gave it some time, switched it on again, there was absolutely no sign on the dashboard. Now, this video is not for you to know that after this video, you can switch on life again and then you can start. No. Some of these conversations are gonna make you feel like you need to stop and start thinking through some of those issues again. So don't be so difficult or hard on yourself, all right? Great. This week's episode is about people pleasing. Now. I know. Many of you are thinking, yeah, well, this is just me. Or you're thinking to yourself, I don't please people. I just want to let you know that sometimes some of these things, they don't necessarily mean that you do them often, but some of them mean that you have done them like once or twice and permitted some other things to be okay in your life because of that permission. So people pleasing is really an emotional need to please others at the expense of yourself. So for example, you are in a constant situation where what other people say is of more importance than what you actually have to say about certain situations. And I mean, to many people, I come off as a very strong personality, but I know I have fought with the need to be liked or to please people in some spaces. Now, people pleasing, for example, will make you feel like you need to be validated, you need to be appreciated, you need to be acknowledged. People have to always be in your good books. And I'm not saying that you should live badly with people. I'm just saying that even in every table that you are allowed to sit in, your voice matters. So you don't have to always say yes to what other people are saying. Your opinion is welcome, your thoughts are allowed, and you are permitted to be you. Really, you are. And so even as we think about some of the reasons why people please, I hope that you can hear yourself or hear situations of maybe a friend or a loved one or a colleague that you work with that has made you feel like, wow, this chick or this guy is actually really trying to people please, or I'm trying to people please as well, okay? So the first thing is, this characteristic is that you validate yourself. You need to validate yourself and not other people. And validating yourself and not other people is a great way to fight people pleasing, because you will validate your opinion. You will validate your thoughts on certain things. You will validate your decisions on matters and not others all the time. And validating is saying, I'm okay with what I think. My thoughts are welcome. So that's one of the ways of curbing people pleasing, is that you need to validate your own way. And sometimes some people don't say it, but I like to say it a lot, is if you feel like what you want to say sometimes is not very, you're scared of how it will sound, I sometimes find myself writing it down first. And then when I write it down, I read it to myself and then say, I agree with this. And then I share it with somebody, because for some strange reason, I get some confidence and I feel like somebody else has said it and I've written it. It's a strange thing, but it works for me. The second thing is that you need to know that you can say no. By the way, it's that simple. You can say no. You can say no to going for a date that you don't want to go for. You can say no to an after-work plan that you don't feel like going for. You can say no to being imposed on things. And why saying no is so important is that it gives a natural boundary to people knowing their limits as to how far they can come into your life. Now, I say this with all humility, is that you constantly saying yes doesn't make you the cool person. You constantly saying yes doesn't mean people like you. In fact, more often than not, you constantly saying yes means that people know that you're available to play with, available to offend, available to be taken advantage of, available to being oppressed in a certain way, yeah? And I know that maybe you're watching this and you're feeling, yeah, that's actually true. It's because if you think about it, the things you have quickly said yes to that you wish you said no to, you always feel a certain type of way inside you when you go through them. So say no. And it's just as simple as, hey, we're going to this place after this. Do you want to come? No. Or you can say, I'm not willing to do it this time. Let me rain check and I'll maybe plan another time and we can do something together. Saying no doesn't make you rude, and you don't have to be nasty. When people come and tell you, can we do this? And, no, I don't want. No, you don't have to be nasty. You just need to be aware that no is such a powerful word, and it stops people from thinking they can use you wrongly, all right? The other thing you need to do is take time for yourself. You know, I struggle with this a lot because of late I've been enjoying it, because I really have begun to feel the power of, by the way, I'm enjoying my own time. But sometimes taking time to yourself is telling yourself that my time matters to me and I will maximize the time I'm spending with myself for the things I want to do. Because sometimes you say yes to other people's plans that you don't even want to be part of, and what happens is that you feel like you're wasting your time. Take time for yourself. Now, how I use my time when I'm taking time for myself is I journal, I'll watch a show I absolutely love, I'll reach out to a friend I haven't spoken to in a long time, or I don't know, I read a book, or watch a show, or talk to, have a conversation, maybe even with myself sometimes, because I do that often, is I can understand, I can place myself appropriately and just gauge myself, where are you, Nyawira? And sometimes you cannot do that with people around you. The first thing you need to do is stop apologizing. You're not always wrong. Now, this one is a hard one for me because I wonder to myself, if I say this, am I permitting people to be nasty or dismissive? And absolutely not. Hear me and hear me well. When I say stop apologizing, I'm telling you, stop taking the blame for things you haven't done and making it look like it's easier for you to take the blame and sit it out. No, it doesn't help anybody. Apologizing here is to tell you that you need to stop owning mistakes that you never made. Now, a great example that I've seen often is that we will be, say for example, at a restaurant. We're just eating, having a good time, having a good meal. We're enjoying. And then the waiter, for example, would come and then ask, are you guys ready to order for, like, let's say dessert, and then immediately you feel the urge to say, I'm so sorry, we are not. I don't know whether you understand this example, but it's not a mistake that you're not ready. You know what I mean? And it's not respectful or disrespectful to tell the person, I'm not yet ready, but your urge to apologize is so that you can be in the right books with some people. Now, there are so many situations. Say, for example, the boss comes into the office and his car the person who parks next to him has parked badly. and he comes and he's like, who parked that car next to me? Hey, yeah. And the first thing that you tell yourself is, you say, I'm really sorry, let me find out who did it for you. Now, there's a difference between being remorseful and feeling empathy for somebody and feeling like you need to take the blame so that you can be in the right standing with somebody. You do not become better for accepting a mistake you never made. Instead of using the word sorry, which I think is a very powerful word, is that you should use words like pardon me, or excuse me, or I felt, I apologize. It saddens me that it offended you. However, this is what I feel about the matter. And sometimes apologizing is, I feel like apologies, and the word sorry particularly, because I must be clear about it. The word sorry is for a mistake. If you did make a mistake, don't apologize, because your apology is to please somebody, all right? The fifth thing is, stop seeking worth from others. Stop it now. And this is as simple as you need to learn to live free from people's expectations. You know, everybody has an expectation of everybody. I have an expectation of you who's watching that you leave a comment. But maybe you have an expectation of how I should sound. Or maybe you have an expectation of what I should be telling you. But the truth is that if I lived based on those expectations, I have empowered you to control me. But if I detach myself and know that there's a separation between what others' opinion is over me and what my opinion over myself is, I begin to live very empowered, because the opinion I have about myself should be of more importance than what other people have of me. And I think this is something that I have fought with as Nyawira often, because even as I began Misunderstood, particularly this platform, I know one of the things I was fighting with was all the time wondering to myself, hiya, and by then Nyawira, what will people say? What will you tell people? Will they receive it? Will they acknowledge? Will they respond? And I realized something extremely interesting was that the more I battled with what other people thought about me, the more I retracted from starting and doing what I needed to do. More than likely, your urge to please people has held you captive and made you feel like you cannot start things without the validation or the affirmation of other people. Look, it's really simple. You are not in this world to be a burden. You're not in this world to be just to be. And sometimes just to be, I think, people have made thriving look like a public thing. But sometimes it could be as simple as have that conversation with a friend of yours that you've been feeling like, if I tell them, this will not end well. But have that conversation. You know what I mean? And that means as simple as don't feel the urge to please people, because when you do, you silence the fact that you're denying people who you really are. And so sometimes I feel like as we open our bonnet and see the issue is people pleasing, the fixing of this really is to tell yourself and affirm yourself. Recognize your own strengths. And sometimes it's as simple as get a piece of paper and write it down. I am good at, I am good for, I am good with. Those are very strong words, and those will make you realize that with these strengths, you have something to offer. And every time somebody speaks ill of you, and sometimes some people please because they have been in families where, for example, they were not allowed to express themselves without glorifying somebody. It happens. And we can't talk ill of how we were brought up, but we can do something with who we are now. So find strength in the fact that you are made for more than other people's yeses, right? And I felt that so deeply, because I needed to hear that also for myself, that sometimes people's yeses are for their own gain and not your own. And so you need to realize what's yes to you, what's yes for you, and then realize that if it's yes for you, you can share it with other people without your expectation of them receiving it with the aim of glorifying you. So sometimes you won't be welcomed, sometimes you'll be denied opportunities, sometimes you will be made to look like you're a know-it-all, or that you're never in agreement, or this chick is not fun, this chick is not happening, this guy is not cool, he's not in the cool crew. But the truth of the matter is that if it means you losing some definitions, but you be content with who you are, I think the strength is in choosing the latter, in choosing who you are over people's yeses, all right? So are you struggling with people pleasing? I know I have, and I'm interested in finding out from you in the comment section. How have you dealt with people pleasing? Are you dealing with it? Are you struggling with it? Share some examples, share some illustrations, and let me know what you have to say about it, because I know that it's something we are all going through. I know you've heard this so many times on my platform, but here's a great opportunity for you to learn a new skill and become a new person in a certain way or a new area. So I want you to get onto Skillshare. So what you do is go onto Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to subscribe using the code misunderstood get 1 month free. Can you imagine free kabisa 1 month? Just get it, please. And so what happens is the first 100, you have to use the code misunderstood to get the free trial that's in the comments section. You'll see a code, click it, and then use the misunderstood link, all right? And then what happens is that you will get a 1 month free trial. Now, Skillshare has everything. What do you want to learn? Is it cooking? You learn. Is it video editing? You learn. Is it music creation? You learn. Is it business? You will name it. You will learn. And they have such a huge array of teachers and trainers. So go on to Skillshare, use the code misunderstood, click on the link in my bio, in my description, click it and use the code misunderstood and get 1 month. And I mean it, 1 month free subscription. So I think you'll do well. Please do it. All right, Skillshare is the way to go.